Hello everyone, welcome back to iFashi. Today's tutorial is a very short and simple one. We'll be teaching us how to make this trendy, beautiful dress. It is a very versatile dress that can be made in different lengths and different preferences if you don't want to open your back, or if you don't want the halter neck and you want your neck to come down a little bit, you can just alterate it to your preference. Now in this tutorial, we'll go straight into the cutting and the sewing of this beautiful dress. Here is the 3 yards Adire fabric that I'll be using for this project. This is because my length is a little bit below my knee. If you want it shorter, 2 yards can make it for you. If you want it very long to the floor, depends on your height or depends on the length you're working with, you would need about 5 to 6 yards for the longer one. Now watch your screen closely and see how I am folding my fabric, because the cutting of this dress can be very tricky. If you already know how to cut a flare dress, this will not be a problem for you. We're going to be cutting it like an A-line, but it will be folded sideways as you see me doing on your screen. Now I'm going to first of all fold my fabric and then bring it towards the yardage part. I'll be using a pattern paper to explain what I just did here, because you might not understand it. Now let's take, for instance, this paper is my fabric. Going upwards like this is the yardage I'm working with, which is the number of yards I have. Now on the sides, I have the length of my fabric. So most fabrics are either 45, 55 or 60 in length. Now you're going to place your fabric on the table the way this paper is placed on the table. You know, usually when we want to cut our fabric, we fold the length inwards, but this one, it will not be like that. The length will be facing up and then the yardage will be facing down. So you fold it in the way I folded my paper. You fold it A shape. Then it will give you what we have on this table. And I'll go ahead and pin it down before we go ahead and take our measurements on this fabric. It is very, very easy to make. You just need to understand how we folded this fabric to get the flare we have on the dress. Now, after folding and pinning it down, we are going to go ahead and work on the neckline, the upper part of this fabric. At this point, if you want your neck to be very high, give you that halter neck, like the halter turtleneck, you would need to take just your neck circumference. You will not take your chest circumference. But if you want the neckline to come down to your chest like mine, you're going to need to come down with 8 inches and mark out that point with your chalk and ruler, so that the dress will sit on your chest. But if you want it to go up, please come down with about 2.5 or 3 inches so that it will be very high on your chest. Now, after marking out my 8 inches, which is my chest line, I'm going to go up on the folded part of my fabric with 1 inch, because I want the neckline to have this round shape. That's why I'm going up on the folded part, and then I'll blend it into the line that I marked out. And after that, we'll go to the length of this dress. This depends on how long or short you want yours to be. So I'll be working with 34 inches for the length. So I'll take 35 so that by the time I fold, I will have my 34 inches. Now you're going to place your tape on the chest line and go down with your desired length. Now remember, on this chest line we have already removed 8 inches, so remember to minus it from your full length. Don't forget, I later cut it out. So minus 8 inches, that's if you came down with 8 inches, except you want yours to be halter neck. So wherever your neck is, place your tape there, remove whatever you minused from the neckline, take your full length down to get the length of your dress. Now we've cut out the front piece. This will serve as our front piece. I'm going to also cut out this neck part. Before I cut out the neck part, I'm going to add 1 inch for my folding allowance. Starting from the 1 inch I went up with at the beginning of my folded fabric, I'll add 1 inch all the way down and cut it out. That 1 inch will serve as the folding allowance we'll be having on that neckline. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the back. Folding the fabric the same way we folded the front, as you see me doing on the screen. Arrange it properly so that no sides will be squeezed or folded. You're going to now place your front on top in order to cut your back so that they both have the same length. Now after placing my front pattern on top, we are going to work on the depth of our back. If you want your back to go down deep, as you saw in the beginning of the video, you're going to come down with your back depth. Take your back measurement. This depends on how deep you want it to be. Place your tape on your shoulder and take it down to wherever you want the depth to stop at the back. And then take what you have from the beginning of your folded fabric for the back piece down to where you want the back depth to be. For me, I used 15 inches, so I marked 15 from the beginning of my fabric down. Then after marking out that 15 inches, we're going to place our front pattern on top to mark that point where our back depth stopped. You notch it on the front piece so that when you're joining the front to the back, it will start from that notch. So for the down part, make sure both of them, both the front and the back, they are equal on the down part. After working on your back depth, just arrange your front on top of the back and cut along the end of the front length. You don't need to measure the length of the back again. As long as it is placed on top of the fabric and well arranged and pinned down, you just go ahead and cut out the excess you have for the back. With that, you have your front and your back piece cut out. Now, like I said before, we're going to determine where the notch at the front is going to be. This notch will remind you that that is the point where the joining of the back will start from when you're joining it to the front. So after notching it, you cut off what you have at that back piece. After cutting it out, this is what you're going to have. Except you don't want a deep back. If you don't want a deep back, go ahead and take the length you want the back to be on your body. That's just your preference, right? It's not compulsory that the back must be deep. So we've gone ahead to notch the point where the back stopped at the front piece. Now we'll go ahead into the joining of the back to the front piece. But before joining, we're going to fold in the beginning of this back, this hem of the back depth that we took. After folding it, we'll go ahead and place our elastic on that point. The folding is not to close it down. Fold it in a way that your elastic can go through what you folded. So now this is the elastic I'll be using. You take your waist measurement, divide it by 2. My waist measurement is 30 inches. When I divide it by 2, I'll have 15, and then I'll remove 5 inches so that the elastic will stretch and hold that back part. So after minusing 5, it means the elastic I'm going to be cutting out is 10 inches elastic. So I'll use my safety pin to hold down the elastic and place it through the folded part at the beginning of that back. So after putting the elastic, before we go ahead and join the back to the front piece. Now we're going to introduce the front. Open it up, right sides facing each other. Place your back on top of your front piece. Starting from the point you notched, you're going to hold it down with a pin and then stitch it all the way to the hem of the dress. I'll do this on both sides of the dress and I'll be right back to show you guys. After stitching down the both sides to hold the back and the front together, this is what it looks like. This is what we have. We've added our elastic. The next step now is to close down the sides on the front piece. We're going to fold it towards the wrong side and stitch it down. And then for this upper part of the front, we're also going to fold it down in a way that your elastic can pass through. But this time we're not using elastic, we're using this 1/2 inch bias strip that I made. This piece will serve as our sleeve. It will serve as the rope that will be tying behind our neck. So Whatever inches that you cut as your rope is what you're going to be folding so that your fabric can pass through. So I'll go right now and fold this, and I'll be right back to show you guys. Now this is what we have. I've folded the sides of the front piece, remaining the hem of this dress. So we're going to go ahead and fold down the hem of the dress right after working on the neckline. So for this neckline, I've stitched it down. This is what it looks like. So the sides of the front has been tucked in, and then the down part of the dress has been tucked in all around. Remember, I added an inch to do the folding on the down part. Now I've also folded in the neckline. The remaining thing now is to place my safety pin on this 1/2 inch piece of fabric that I cut and pass it through the channel I created on this neckline from one end to the other, so that the rope on both sides will serve as the one we'll be tying behind our neck. So that's that for this dress. It's very simple and straight to the point. If you have not subscribed, please remember to subscribe, like and share this video. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bell for our weekly uploads. We have come to the end of this tutorial. Here is the beautiful dress we just made, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in our next tutorial.